The Ferguson Report. The Ferguson Report, from March 18th through the 31st, 2020.
Aries.
Presentation is everything. Now's the time for a completely upgraded look to the world. A new year is beginning in March when it's your time to shine. With an even more urgent need to act without thinking, you'll gladly toss caution to the wind in an effort to mark new territory in your life. To find your purpose for being here is the all-affirming goal, and you will if you haven't already started. You no longer need to fight with others to carve out an existence, nor should you be hiding to avoid the world. This is your life, and you deserve your rightful place like anyone else, yet your calling is a lot more urgent. It's a now or never moment. Realistic and level-headed, whatever past emotional damage has affected you can now be constructively eradicated. This is because you are clear about what is happening, what is possible. Your diligent effort can be rewarded by supervisors or with a surplus of independent contracts. Encouraged to take the lead in most situations, but particularly in the career, you'll also need to plan tasks somewhat obsessively and finish them in the same way. This drive separates you from those who don't work as orderly as you. You can be relied upon for the accomplishment of serious goals, with even the group of individuals around you reflecting this goal-mindedness. A lot of this has to do with well-to-do people and your need to relate to them so that having the means to accomplish goals is easier. On a personal level, you like to give to receive a return on your investment and like to be given things of value to really know how much you're appreciated. Let's face it, real life costs real money and talk is cheap. So action is comforting when you stand to benefit financially from it.
Taurus.
This is the time of spiritual service with emphasis on the needs of others. Ironically, you may need to retreat from people in order to do that. It's like the dark night of the soul on the path to unify with all, but that the journey through others to get there is what we know and can work with. Fortunately, the place for this growth just happens to be in your profession. More than growth, professional advancement, even life-changing catapults into one's position of power is possible. This is the start where you must keep the process hidden from others on your way up. You now have been handed the challenge of learning to follow procedure, doing things the right way to avoid a terrible price to pay later on. Provided you keep ambitions to a moderate degree, you stand to achieve a great deal, always considering the benefit of others when performing professional duties. Add disruption to your already strong-mindedness and an even more rebellious nature. You've been adjusting to a new way of expressing freedom by demanding it in most of what you do. If people don't allow you the liberality to do what you want, you'll even step out of your natural rut and use new technology to get it. Whatever method you need to employ that shows your need for abrupt change is the best one yet. Your personal style is another area of self-expression that you will change very much opposed to the manner in which you're used to. Regardless of such cold calculations, feelings of self-respect and adoration come first, which you, in turn, radiate to anyone you come into contact with. The key at this time is the way in which you treat yourself will be the same way others will treat you. So pamper yourself.
Gemini.
It's wise to develop new business relationships with caution. Unless you have established ties with groups of individuals to make your objectives happen, your best bet is to protect yourself and be extra realistic about business associates. You will have to rely on sheer instinct because information may not be willingly revealed to you. Cutthroat competition insists that you calculate your movements through eloquent speech and writing expression, which you'll naturally do anyway. By the same token, you will have to reject your fear of rejection by opening yourself up to new people. It's the name of the game if you want to generate new money. The most important part of this is to define yourself by establishing very strong boundaries with others. You easily lose yourself in someone who brings you a greater perspective, a happier outlook, the potential to make more money, and whatever attraction you're seeking at this moment. Yeah, it's up to you to discern whether this person is merely using your desires that you've revealed to them as a way to use you for their own objectives disguised as genuine partnership. In other words, beware of the motives of others and watch the company you keep. You can also help others with no thought of reward. It's the way in which you comprehend the collective and how each one of us is linked to it in our own individual ways. You're able to know what people need and help them along in their discovery and development of that thing, a very rare thing indeed. Yet, you still should sniff out the tone of what these individuals put in the air during your interaction. You will notice that your first impression is the correct one, and no one has to tell you how you feel. Help those who truly need it, then you'll never go wrong.
Cancer.
All public information becomes publicized during a crisis of energies. All crises are not bad, such as this one. In fact, you are now experiencing a time where you have expert assistance from lawyers, the clergy, spouses, and other such advocates who support your trials. Whether you're going through a court case, lawsuit, illness, or some life-altering circumstance, you're lucky enough to have these people in your corner. They may seem like quiet individuals upon first look, but these powerful people in their own right have the resources that make people move. And they don't show up without a plan and an agenda to win. You may even benefit from your spouse or significant other's connection to an association within the community and may lead in its activities because these people like your outgoing, social nature. Such leadership usually leads to public favor and media coverage on your story. Or it could be that you are changing your status to the downtrodden victim of a careless act on the part of an individual or organization to that of a hero who deserves the recognition for all the suffering you went through. You also may be asked to participate in group advocacy of a charitable organization by using your platform to change the lives for better. You could easily be inspired and come up with inventive ways to spread your and their message to many people and make a huge impact. While, on the other hand, you can see the big picture and make broad, sweeping assessments to get to any conclusion. The details have to be worked out carefully by a more fact-finding associate, which should not be a problem for you to find.
Leo.
You have the placements of an independent freelance person when it comes to anything you do professionally. It's not that you refuse to listen to good advice. You know yourself, through and through. You know that your needs are yours alone and no one is going to supply you with what you want out of life. So you have to get it yourself. Your choice as a travel writer, cake designer, or show producer reflect broad strokes you use to express your craft. These are part of who you are and without any editing or detail. They naturally emerge as personal creativity. Take it or leave it. You like it or you don't. Usually though, People really like what you have to offer, and because your output is great, people from other parts of the world may hear about your talents and ask you to work with them in some way. You could also be exporting goods to them, making a sizable profit as a result. Cooperation and respect are two rules you follow to the letter to receive respect from these people. The residual components of working with people, such as a lack of personal boundaries, underhandedness, or outright lying, has no place for your honesty. You will not stand for unprofessionalism and demand it in whomever you deal with. This is why you bring all together in the same spirit to work together within a division. You will also be able to invent a new style in whatever you do by picking up the nonverbal needs of others. Your sign is probing, but without asking a lot of questions. You analyze people and their motivations, which gives you valuable information. You'll take what you learn and strategize for the release of the latest thing with you at the lead position.
Virgo.
For a long time, your cooperation with other people was a necessity. You will have to combine your creative efforts into promotion for a brand or company that will reward you based on your output. You have a lot of creative ideas to show indeed. This is also a time of bonding with others on an intimate level. If the thought of marriage never crossed your mind, then at least allow it some consideration and thought. Marriage is the contract between two individuals to merge and create an even larger pool of resources. The other consequence of this is having children. Now, if this is not your idea of happiness, then by all means, focus on all the creative ideas coming from you day after day, for that is the same energy. But in terms of starting a family, you have what it takes to not only do that, but find happiness. No longer following the pattern of forced or arranged marriage, or doing it for the sake of being with someone. Here is a real opportunity to find happiness with another and create progeny out of happiness as well. I think they call that a love story. And these things are quite possible with all the love aspects you've got going on for you. Called the Virgin, you're usually found going solo most of the time or keeping things to yourself. Now is the time to be out and about with people to make whatever you desire happen. Energies stirring up in your creative sector assure that you will make a name for yourself simply by going out and meeting people. I know, the traffic is too heavy, you want to avoid crazy people out on the street, and so on. So, do whatever workaround you need to get out there and meet those to help you get to your goal. Stepping out of your comfort zone has its reward for you. It's called destiny in the making.
Libra.
Challenges are your middle name. Even though it's been one, or more than one for the past few years, during this cycle, there's a stabilizing opportunity for you. This is a chance to extend all the benefits from your home life into personal relationships. You get to decide what is best for you. Feel like getting married? That is the most unifying process in a relationship there is. You will carefully evaluate both your assets and liabilities on the table and to determine whether or not they improve your economic, emotional, mental, and spiritual position, and vice versa. Both parties should benefit when you take the time to see how much you have to offer and receive. There are also a lot of financial issues to contend with. Usually a time of intense frustration when it comes to money. In order to pass this test with flying colors, you'll need patience and flexibility to do it. Let's say you owe child support. The letters keep coming. You look at them, then throw them straight in the trash. Ignoring your monetary obligation in any sense only makes things worse. Securing your money first and offering to settle with your ex each month shows the other person that not only are you willing to work at paying something, but you aren't closed off from the parenting process. This is the quality that others recognize in you as mature enough to handle even bigger things. This could also be the sensitive area for your partner, who realizes how you choose to handle your own past personal affairs that will affect him or her directly. You have a real chance to eradicate bad habits by taking care of business in as simple and practical a way as possible. Then love, with all its emotional challenges, will be a breeze and a song to sip pina coladas to.
Scorpio.
Seems like every time you try to express your real self to others, people can't seem to really get you. It's yet another time for self-comprehension by being alone. You're probably saying, "Oh no, not again." But you do this better than anyone. I'm not saying that you have to isolate yourself from everyone. You just have to look at every person in your life and evaluate how they're significant to you. If they fail to enhance your life in any way, you will let them go. In this way, your circle will be smaller and smaller, making your life right now seem like you've isolated yourself. It's only making room for real stuff in the form of service to others and a sense of meaning for you and the group with which you're involved. This could also indicate taking care of a family member or other homebound person with medical issues. If this feels like a prison sentence at times, keep asking yourself how you would want to be treated if you desperately needed help doing things the average person takes for granted. And never think your vital support goes unnoticed by family members who take you for granted, that you will always be there because you so freely give your dedication in anything you do. But if you hear what they say to other people about how much they need you, you would cry a river. Some of you may even give care to a child not of your own, for you can see how helpless and vulnerable the little people are who need strong guidance so they will participate properly in life because you are part of their support. You know what it is to sacrifice and lose. Sudden separations from close people will help you through new relations, how not to give up all of yourself, but relate in a healthy way, and to enjoy the mystery and thrill of dating, which makes you feel alive and free from life's troubles.
Sagittarius.
Relying on some personal income would be futile if it weren't for a stroke of good fortune in this personal finance area. Your already lucky charm is given an extra help of cash. You seem to get involved with wealthy people, either through marriage or by your own efforts, which you don't have to extend much. Perhaps it's because of your generous nature, never wanting to see someone else suffer. You attract money to you with a great big happy outlook, which you happily share with anyone in need. Your money is intimately linked with how you perform at your job. As a freedom-loving sign, this also extends into your job schedule, which, if you do not have some form of liberty, you're likely to lose your mind. Superiors must know that being the most productive requires being flexible, and that you have to have that. The more flexibility they give you, without offending anyone else, you're likely to shine brightly. This is when they see your performance increase tremendously. You will go out of your way to do more than what your job requires, provided you feel free to make your own decisions and work your shift independent of the standard 9 to 5 time slot. You'll even find your job to be a great place to work, with camaraderie and morale high between employees. A career connected to making others look good is another possibility, or a side job earning money in such a freelance gig. Love in the workplace is also possible, but always be careful with consorting with people on a personal level outside of the office. That said, you are in for a romantic month. When you want something to happen, just ask your loved one. When you are in control, have the money to do extra special things, buy nice gifts, and go to places you couldn't before. Be bold. Call to make reservations. Ask him or her to go out and go.
Capricorn.
Some of you who grew up in a disharmonious home environment were forced to defend yourselves in childhood. Now's the chance to renew family relationships and reveal how you really feel about what happened back then. It will make your present time easier to deal with, especially during periods of feeling uncomfortable where and with whom you live. You really have the power to overcome everything you want to. Some serious energy has been granted to you to make your mark in just about any way you choose. The goat is a sexual animal, getting straight to the point when it comes to procreating. Love at first sight could happen to you with flirtatious people around you ready to consummate the act. There's nothing wrong with two consenting adults having fun. This time actually encourages healthy love expression, fun times, and easy social ability. The problems begin when you decide that one just isn't enough, unless you establish the type of relationships you want to have from the very beginning. The main reason is you find feelings to be too heavy to deal with. For this cycle, you'll hate being bored and will not stop until your curiosity is satisfied. A healthy outlet is a library or bookstore where you can learn about those new technology gadgets everyone's been talking about. Reaching out to your siblings or step-sibling is always a new learning experience. Children can benefit from your guidance, especially through creative expression. Take them out to enjoy activities in your local area. They will always remember these experiences from their childhood, as you're using your taste for variety to include them in the non-stop fun of many different things to do.
Aquarius.
You ever see those people who were one day dressed in jeans and old sneakers transformed into a buttoned-up three-piece suit with shiny patent leather shoes? It may be time for you to mature in a very personal way. You do not like to be restricted, but everyone must follow rules. The laws of physics, or nature, tell us that all matter has energy and force acting upon them at all times. You, as a living being, are clearly no exception. What this all means is that you want stability in your life. Like a fish tank holding the structure of the water in place, you need a stable place to grow. Anything blocking your growth will be recognized and thrown out with the garbage. Circumstances will not allow you to waste your time on roadblocks to personal growth. Older people with this placement are philosophical and wise because they have already learned the difficult lessons before achieving joy. The younger people are forced to grow through many challenges, each of which must be met by an attitude of responsibility and diligent work. Your neighborhood becomes more important to you, for you may have important dealings there. You may be getting to know local business people or new residents to start some campaign for a cleaner area. You feel like tackling the task of doing something rather than just talking about it. However, there will have to be much more communication online, over your phone, and on social media about a particular area concern. Perhaps how residents feel about whether their economic investment in their neighborhood is doing enough. Act as an advocate for people who may feel as if they are being financially swindled by proposing fine art and entertainment-based facilities used to attract income to the community.
Pisces.
You have some ideas about how to earn more money, but those Dollar Tree stores keep popping up with cheap items you think you need. Always on the lookout for a bargain. You really try hard to save your money. There are just so many distractions out there that keep you from holding on to any pocket money. What to do? Your mind right now is in its rarest form, working even more insightful than ever. It will tell you not to do something. The truth as to why will reveal itself later on. You must follow the dictates of your own mind rather than pure rational thought. You'll start to notice how many rational people there are indulging in bad financial behavior. They spend their hard-earned money at fast food restaurants, cheap stores, and continue to buy all the bad products forced upon the masses before they even step outside their doors. To keep this discipline going, turn the urge to buy into a mind game or puzzle. Your mind works very well by figuring out a dilemma. Asking questions is the very first step to learning whether or not a certain product is good for you, and the environment too. In all this distraction, you have a place and purpose in the world. This time can certainly define it if you have yet to know your purpose. Rather than soaking up the place where you most frequent and the emotional tone of those in it, your group and associations you belong to can teach you a lot about who you are. Most of them are good people of moral character, who are not out to take advantage, nor put your very susceptible nature under a spell of hypnosis to do what they will with you. They will even guide you to a potential career you thought you were never capable of starting.